Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is fish log number 55, and there's an awful lot going on in the fish room today, not the least of which is this little guy. This is the bin where I've been hatching out all the little baby rainbows, and this is a baby Corydoras. And not just any Corydoras, this is a fry from the wild caught Corys that I got in about a year ago now. And I've been keeping in with the rainbows, growing them out and waiting for them to start showing interest in breeding. And apparently they have done so. These are them here. I'll actually have to go back through my records and look up what their name is. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I'm ever so happy that they started to spawn. And now I'm going to probably have to set them up in their own little aquarium so I can actually get some more of them, because I'm sure the rainbows are snacking on whatever pops out, because when I drop scuds in this tank, they just go absolutely crazy for any kind of movement. So I'm happy that that little guy survived. Now I just have to see if I can get some more. And speaking of fry, these guys are doing really well. It's not a big surprise. I mean, Crebensis are probably amongst one of the easiest fish to either breed and or raise. I mean, they're great parents. They do a wonderful job. At some point in the near future, I am going to have to separate out these guys from the parents and give them their own little aquarium, just so I can grow them out better. Now, speaking of fish that don't seem to have any interest in eating their own fry, these killifish here, these are Gardneri. And as you can see, there seems to be an ever-increasing number of them. And I'm actually really happy about this. I do have to separate them out, because you can see now the males, the fry males, are now almost fully mature, and I do want to actually raise a lot more of these, so I'm going to set up at least one more breeding group, and then probably just a holding tank with all the other ones. And that's excellent. I love this. This is great. I'm actually really happy to have these going, and I'm actually really happy that they can be bred in a community situation like this, which is even easier. So these are the rainbow fish fry and the goldfish babies that I had put in with them. These are the oldest fry, and they are about 2 weeks older than those goldfish, and you can see the goldfish are just leaving them in the dust. They're just growing so well. Now this tank is getting more set up. I'm going to have to do a clean on that, because I have been letting it go because I didn't want to disturb the fry too much. Speaking of which, these are the next batch down. There's an awful lot of them in here, and this is actually where I put that little baby Cory. So he's in here. There's lots of stuff in here for him to eat, flake food, microworms, and all kinds of stuff, so he'll be happy in there. So this is what's left of the arrowleaf plant that I decided not to put in that new bubbler that I put together. And this is the one that I did. So you can see there's night and day between them. I'm very happy with how this is working out. And that brings me to the next new addition for the fish room. And that is, because we can now get into various places, I went into somewhere where I was fairly certain that they have peace lilies. They had a whole bunch of them, and I bought 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the one. I think the one on the right I'm going to keep in the pot for now. And I'm just going to water it as is. And the one on the left, I am going to take it out of its pot, and I'm going to divide it up. And one of them is going to go into one of the new bubblers. I knocked a new one together there. They're actually pretty straightforward and easy to build. Here it is here. I did a slightly different this time though. Instead of doing the turning down of the pipe and then fitting it in as a friction fit, I just put a ring around the outside so it leaves the whole thing clear. And I'm not sure whether it looks better or works better, but we'll see how it goes. So this one here, I am going to pull it out of its pot and get all that soil off, and then divide it up. I'm very excited to have finally gotten some peace lilies. I mean, they're not exactly a rare plant or anything, but with all the lockdowns, it has been very difficult for me to get new additions for the fish room. And this is one that should do really well as an immersed plant. I mean, so many people just put them in some kind of vase with marbles or other decorative things and just top of the water as it evaporates. And they do very well in that environment. So I think in the little bubblers with a constant flow of new water, and of course water that has been fertilized, with fish poop, it should do immensely well in there. So I'm very pleased to have it, and I'm very excited to see how well it does. And as you can see, this is a nice tough plant. I'm going to get a pair of scissors in a few minutes and just cut the base of that and get them separated. Now, one of them, like I said, is going to go in that bubbler. And the other one I'm going to just leave for the moment, but I think it's going to end up becoming the centerpiece for the paludarium. And then, depending on how these things do, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine, but I want to obviously make sure. These are actually going to go into the pond, which is over to the right there. And also I want to use them for the large paludarium build that I'm going to put it together gradually, because again, they're still locked down, so I can get in there, but not as much as I'd like to, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get there more regularly. I've already installed the filtration system, and there's going to be a video coming up about that. But I want to save it until I actually have stuff in there and a little bit more. Well, it's a lot of space to fill, so I haven't been able to get a whole lot of anything really. And I mean, I can grow a lot of plants, but not nearly enough, because I haven't been able to get enough of this style where they're like a nice big leafy plant and one that will do, like, fill that space, which is, I mean, that's what it comes right down to in the end. There's an awful lot of room in that tank, so I'm really hoping that these are going to do well. So that little one is going to go into that centerpiece, and the larger one here I'm going to hook up with a gravel, just exactly the same as the other one, and well, we'll see how it does. I mean, you saw how those plants that I put in there. I mean, I don't really expect the spider plant to do well, not long term anyway, though I did get one comment when I mentioned it. They said they can grow spider plants like that, and that's a positive. We'll see how it goes. So this is a nice, healthy, big plant, and it's probably going to stay here in the fish room, unless, of course, you know, it depends on how. Again, it all depends on how they all do. Every plant's different, how it handles being divided, all that sort of stuff. So this one will probably stay in the fish room if everything else works out fine. If not, it'll, like, depending on, you know, which ones do well or whatever, it may end up in the paludarium build or the large one, so we'll see how that goes. So this is quite straightforward now, and I'm just going to pack some gravel around this, set it in the aquarium, and give you guys a look at it. The other thing I want to talk about today while this is happening is the poll I put up recently. Polls are wonderful, and I really like doing them, and I have more coming up. Actually, I have a really interesting one, I think, for this week. This one is so close, 31 to 30% the last time I checked, between the next two projects to do, which is the indoor pond, which is just 1% ahead of the big 7-foot tank. So I'm going to show two clips at the end, at the very end of this, and like I said, it's just, I'll probably end up just deciding which one to do depending on how other things are happening. You can see just to the far right here, that is the left-hand wall of the indoor pond. And you can see there's a bunch of stuff in there. There's actually a lot of stuff in there. This is where I've been holding a lot of the containers that have been hatching out the rainbow fish fry. And also, I've decided to go ahead and try and breed some bettas. Now there's going to be a video coming up about that in a little while, but I could probably find room for them here on this side of the bench. We'll have to see. Anyway, I'm going to figure out which one of those two I'm going to do. Most likely it'll be the indoor pond, because I do need places for this to go. But as you're going to see shortly when I get to the video for the 7-foot tank, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen there too. And now that I can actually go into a store and pick out stuff that I need and try stuff out, there's probably going to be more projects I want to work on than I'm going to have time for. I probably will go ahead with both of them as much as I can. I'm not sure which one will actually make it to video first, but I am going to do the best I can for that. So thank you very much for answering that poll, and it really did help a lot because it narrowed it down at least to 2. So this is the indoor pond as it is now. And all that stuff has to come out. That's all the live food culturing, microworm culturing, and hatching out of all kinds of little things and the bettas. And anyway, I'll have to get to that soon. And the other reason is this tank is getting overgrown. This is just one 15-gallon tank's worth of plants that I put in here, and then, well, they had all the extra space, so they just took off. So I need to work on this for sure. So I'm going to get to those, and hopefully we'll see which one comes up first. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of all this, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.